Welcome back to another episode of the Cheeky Midweeky, where we are making strength and conditioning not boring anymore. Before we get into today's episode, please hit that subscribe button, as it helps our show grow and it helps you be notified when more content from us gets released. In today's episode, I'm joined by Coach George Adams. In this episode, Coach and I talk about all things high school strength and conditioning, as he is a state director for the NHSCA and he's been a coach of the year. We talk about the ins and outs of being able to work with your athletic trainer, how to coach large groups of athletes. So even if you don't work in high school setting, if you work in tactical, if you work in college, especially D2 or Division III, where it's just you and tons of athletes, this episode is for you. Get CEUs faster, cheaper, and more convenient than ever before with Strength Coach Network. Hey, it's Justin, here to tell you about how Strength Coach Network can now help you out with our premium membership and CEUs to the NSCA and CSCCa. Upon signing up for our premium membership, you will get 2.0 or 10 CEUs immediately. That is an entire year's worth of CEUs that you are able to access from the convenience of your office. No traveling for conferences, no waiting on flights, no eating out, no expensive hotels. Just the good stuff from great coaches. Now, if you need extra CEUs for past years during the reporting period, we can bundle Fundamentals 1 or 2, which also come with 2.0 or 10 CEUs to your purchase. That way you're able to take care of your CEUs for the best price, most convenient, and learn from some of the best coaches. If you want more help with this, email us at service@strengthcoachnetwork or visit us at strengthcoachnetwork.com, and I would be delighted to help you out. You just coach the kids when they're not in school, right? That's how it works.
Yeah, normally we have our junior high kids throughout the day.
Okay.
So 1 through 6, we have our junior high kids built in, but they're doing some sort of standardized testing this week, yesterday and today. And so they're gone. We don't see any of them the last 2 days.
So that's how y'all start to incorporate the junior high, because a lot of these strength coaches that I've been talking to, it's been a mixture of, maybe they come in the morning. That's how y'all handle it.
Ours is throughout the day. They have what we call athletic periods. And so the way it works out is basically like when our schools were first founded, there were basketball periods. And so those basketball periods got pushed now into athletics. And so that's when we'll do our strength training, our sprint training. They practice track during that time right now, 2 days a week. And so we keep them. The majority of them, we keep them year round, especially our boys. Our girls is a fight, but we're starting to do better at it.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us to talk about the high school world. I've been doing this deep dive. What made you want to get into it? And I'll tease it up. We have a state director, coach of the year. So this is somebody that's done it really well in the high school world. So if you want to learn, we got a good guest for you right now.
Appreciate it. It was, honestly, it came by complete chance. I was finishing up so I bounced around a little bit. I was a terrible undergrad student, so I wasn't able to do my GA right away. And so I had to bounce around and build the resume up a little bit. And then I was finishing up my GA at Georgia, and somebody reached out on Instagram and was like, hey, he's a good friend of mine now. He lives here, but he reached out and was like, hey, there's a high school in the Jackson area looking for a full-time strength coach. And my mom happens to be from Jackson. And so I was fairly familiar. And I was like, man, it's only one of a few schools. And then one thing led to another. And this is wrapping up year 6.
Ooh.
So we've been here a little bit. So it's been really cool.
Okay, year 6. So now you're really doing all the things that you've wanted to do. You think about OC or a DC, how they have their program running. And so for you, what does that look like? Let's talk about that.
This year is really cool for me because we start our 7th grade is our first year in our program. We introduce our 6th graders to some stuff, just very rudimentary as a part of their PE. But 7th grade is when they enter our program, which we call our long-term athletic development. It's 7th, 8th in the fall semester of their 9th grade year. But this is cool because it's my first class that I've had throughout. So it's a really cool year for me. But that's how we get them through. I'm very fortunate. I couldn't do what I do without admin support. I have a great relationship with my major sport head coaches, and really most of our head coaches I have a really good relationship with and work well with. But we're down the technology hole, and we're running some vault stuff. We got a shred mill. We had VBT. We're about to reintroduce it again. So I have great admin support, which helps with that. It's because without them, if they were just like, hey, we just want you to tell them to lift the weights, and we'd get it done, but we wouldn't be able to take out as much of the guesswork as we're able to right now.
Yeah. For you and any of our listeners out there that are like, okay, how do you go about like how many days a week do you have them, like the nitty and gritty? Because some of these coaches that I've talked to, bro, they got like 5 days a week, 70 minutes.
Yep.
Some of them are like, hey, I got 5 days a week, but it's only 35 minutes.
Yep.
So where are you at with all that?
All right. So if we take our junior high, the kids that are throughout the week, we set it up this way last year. This is our second year doing it. Friday is a free day for our junior high kids. And so free,
like they don't go to school or what?
No, like they get to go play, go do recess out on the field, go play dodgeball, I don't care what you do, but you're not going to do anything like structured.
Good.
Go play soccer, go play ultimate frisbee. So they train with us Monday through Thursday. We have them. It ends up being about, I think it's 37 minutes. We give them time, obviously change out time and dress back into school uniform time. But at the beginning and end, but we have about 30, depending on the day, what we have going on, about 35 to 38 minutes typically. 2 days a week is strength training. We do that Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. We do our speed and agility, change direction type stuff, depending on what we're doing that day. That's how our junior high is set up. Now, that ebbs and flows depending on what sport they're practicing. So like basketball, right? When they're using this period as basketball, I get them twice a week. And we just keep them strength training, let everything else take care of itself in the gym. From their basketball, hopefully they're making that happen. And then when we get to track season, it's similar. We train Monday and Wednesday. They do track Tuesday, Thursday. But that is year round. At minimum, I have them twice a week, which is really good. And that's what I try to focus on with our coaches is I'm like, hey, as long as I can keep them in twice a week and it's only focused on development, we have coaches come in and ask what we're doing. I tell them, I'm like, I don't care what sport they're playing right now. I don't care. It's just trying to build a big, robust foundation. That way, when they get to our varsity levels, then it takes away that learning curve of having to teach the movements. It's heavy Olympic lifting based. We complex and use we're fortunate. We got 15-pound training bars, 35-pound training bars. So we're fortunate in that aspect. We get a bar in our hand from day one and start teaching that. And so it ends up for us working really well. It's worked every year, right? It doesn't look exactly the same. But I tell them all the time, some of them, they're like, Coach, I'm bored. I'm like, I'm bored coaching it, but we're not doing it. We're not doing it to a level where we're going to move on yet. Because to me, it's not worth it to move on just to say, hey, we're progressing for progression's sake. Now, let's make sure we're mastering these movements, especially with our 7th and 8th graders. I'll let our 9th graders push a little bit more. They got a couple years underneath them, and they know what it should feel like. But for me, with those young guys, let's slow it down as much as we can because we're fortunate in the system we're in.
For the thing that I want to ask you then is how much of it is multi-sport athlete? How much of it is one sport athlete? Because, if they're all multi-sport athletes, then 2 times a week is awesome because
the large majority.
Oh, that's what you're working with?
Yeah, the large majority of our junior high kids especially are multi-sport. Now, our varsity kids, if I had to guess, this is purely a guess, it's probably 70% of them are multi-sport athletes.
Good.
Either most of them 2-sport. We don't have a ton of 3-sport athletes just because it's tough, especially on the boys' side. Just say you want to be, if you take the majors, right? If you say I want to be a football player, I want to be a basketball player, and I want to be a baseball player, it's just tough. It's real tough to balance that in today's world, especially of youth athletics. And so probably 70% of our kids are multi-sport. And so then that's where the tricky comes in, right? When we're in season for football, if a kid's transitioning to basketball, now it's as we get towards the end of football season, I got to start making sure he's prepared so he doesn't just feel like he got hit by a bus going into basketball season.
What's up, everybody? Taking a quick break from the show to talk about one of our sponsors, TeamBuildr. I've been using TeamBuildr since 2019 when I was at Towson. I still use it with my remote athletes. I also use it at Goldfinch, which is the private sector gym I train at, and we use it at Centennial, which is the high school that I'm working at. Now, if you're printing on lift cards because you say, oh, I can't afford TeamBuildr, guess what? TeamBuildr has a pre-written grant that you can locate on their website. You simply change the name of you, your organization, and the areas that they highlighted, and they can help you get TeamBuildr at your facility, your university, whatever it is, so that way you can optimize how you train your athletes with this software. Now, TeamBuildr is also a part owner in the Plyomat. The Plyomat is something that I utilize at Goldfinch, and it helps you be able to see how high somebody jumped, the ground contact time, and RSI. You can get all that conveniently right there. You can reach out to your rep from TeamBuildr to be able to get more information on the Plyomat. It's fast, it's reliable, it's convenient, and it's trusted by coaches worldwide. Check them out as well as TeamBuildr in the link down below.
And then same with, we only have one of those kids right now that is a 3-sport athlete on the male side. We got a couple that'll play football and play baseball, and then they'll do something in track. We have a few of those, but that's where just working with the coaches. And I try to tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm here to make sure they're ready to go. Like, you guys do the skill stuff, but I'll make sure they're ready to go for their sport. We just got to be in really good communication.
I feel like I remember that, getting hit by that bus, because in high school, for me, our high school season ended on Thanksgiving Day. We always played our rival on Thanksgiving Day, and then you went into basketball season almost with no week off. Like, the basketball coach knew, like, all right, the guys that were playing basketball, that played football, they're going to make the team. During that tryout week, that was like our transition week to get ready to play. Is that kind of how the calendar is lining up for you down there?
No. Everything overlaps now. So, like, we finish football season, you go to the championship game. It is the week before Thanksgiving. It's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. Basketball starts playing about the last week or two of October.
Gosh, it's like college.
Oh, yeah, everything. It's, if you look at, like, the NCAA schedule, it's the same. Everything overlaps. Basketball runs until the end of February or 2.
Yeah.
Last week, we wrapped up basketball season as the overall championship. And so those kids, the one kid we had that was a football player, then he transitioned to basketball, then he transitioned into baseball, and there's really no downtime. And then the kicker of it is baseball is what he loves. And so it's like everything is geared in a mind of, like, how can we make sure he's performing the best he can in baseball?
What's he play?
He plays third.
Oh, so the kid's got an arm.
Yeah, he's got an arm. The tough part with him is you just got to get stronger. And it's like, how do we balance that and also make sure in a basketball, because our coaches are big and they train him well and they progress it super well, but they work hard. They work super hard during basketball. And then we run the GPS stuff with football. He's been in season and at a high level since, I'll say, July, when we start, like, in preseason training. Yeah. I'm like, dang, like, all right. And he's still going and playing showcase baseball, and he's still doing all that. Oh yeah. If you talk about an aerobic base, the kid is nuts. He can go for days. It's just trying to get him stronger.
And he needs that aerobic base just to recover from everything that he's doing. Because if he doesn't have that, then he's not recovering from the basketball games. This is and travel, and then the football games, and then the showcase on. Because I'm sure a kid that's got pressure at home from mom and dad.
Oh yeah, and he's got great parents, and his dad is an AD at one of the colleges about 20 minutes away from us. And his dad gets it. His dad was a longtime basketball coach, and so he's constantly in this, hey coach, how can I gain weight? And I'm like, at this point, dude, you just got to eat. I don't care what you're eating. It's just got to be calories and knock them down, and hopefully we can get some mass to stay on you.
Let's talk about the nutrition stuff then. How do you go about handling nutrition with your group of athletes, guys and girls?
Right now, it's just talking to them. We got some resources I think we're going to start using as far as maybe getting them something after training, but a lot of it just comes down to talking. I'll do the mass talks with the team of, hey, you need to eat, sleep, hydrate. I tell them all the time, I'm like, hey, if you guys don't eat and you guys wait until lunch to do something, we might as well come in here and beat our head on the barbell for an hour. And then we get just as much out of it. But then some of them, when they start to take it a little more serious, like I'll sit down and talk with them. And we've had a few, they'll keep up either on, MyFitnessPal? Either on MyFitnessPal, or I tell them, I've seen better success when they write it down.
I agree.
And they write it down, and then we'll come in and talk about what they're actually taking in. Because most kids, I'm sure you saw the same thing.
Bro, the number of times kids would be like, Coach, I'm eating all the time.
Yeah.
Same thing. I use the exact same. I made a couple adjustments to the template that we had at Iowa, and I would give the kids, hey, just write down 3 days of things you ate. Coach, I eat all the time. I eat all the time. Awesome. Show me how much you eat.
It's like 1,900 calories. And you're like, it's not even close.
It's like you had 2 meals. Like, what do you talk? Like, and that's just where it's frustrating, but it's also not, because it's low hanging fruit. You literally just need to eat more food.
Yeah. I just need you to get back to baseline. Like, you're going to gain weight if you just eat what you need to, not even to worry about gaining weight right now. And it's always funny. I'm sure you saw the same thing. They started actually like paying attention to calorie intake. They're like, Coach, I can't eat this much. I'm like, no, that's exactly how much you need to be eating. I don't know what to tell you. So that's always a game too. And the tough part here is we don't, at the high school level, we're not one of these schools that has like an athletic cafeteria.
Yeah, you just have the cafeteria.
And we're like, go eat. And then they're like, oh, we had this for dinner last night. I'm like, okay, what you need to learn how to do is that thing in your kitchen. It's called a stove. You need to learn how to cook it. They're like, Coach, I don't know how to cook eggs. And I'm like, all right, you guys are always on your phone. There's this thing called YouTube. And I don't care what you do, and type in how to scramble eggs and then go learn how to do it. And so I'm like, stop, especially with our older kids. I'm like, stop relying on your parents so much, because here very soon they're not going to be holding your hand and cooking your meals and everything. Like, you need to learn how to cook a little bit. So.
Well, and I think some people hearing that might be like, you actually might have a little bit of an advantage because during your day, the kids literally stop school to go and eat. That don't happen in college. It's not, this is cafeteria time. This is lunchtime. No, the kids could literally go from wake up, train, go to class, and then not have a time to eat where they could have eaten in between. No, it's like at the very minimum, you do have this opportunity to eat. Go eat. If I was you, I'd be a psycho. I'd be like, all right, I see what's on the skip. This is the cafeteria. Get that, you know what I mean? Try to help them that way.
And that's what it is. And I tell most of them, I'm like, man, it's going to be cheaper. And it's going to be better if y'all just cook it at home and bring it. And so the kids we've had really good success with gaining weight or like wanting to gain weight are the kids that did that.
Do y'all have sorry.
No, you're good. They prepared their meals at home. And then like you said, the psycho ones, the like nutty ones, right? They're like, hey, I'm sending texts and I'm like, hey, you're good. I see your food. I don't need you to check in. But just every time they eat, they're sending a picture. And I'm like, hey, I'd rather you do that than be behind. But the kids that take it serious, and that's where I leave it with them. Like, we have every strength coach probably, you have this packet of nutrition stuff and you hand it to them and they read it sometimes. But the big one, when they sell out to it, like I make it as in-depth as they want it.
What's up, everybody? Taking a quick break from the show to talk about one of our sponsors, Hawin Dynamic. I've been using Hawin Dynamics ever since I was at Towson. Still utilize it today when I'm at the private sector at Goldfinch. Even brought the plates from Goldfinch over to Centennial to do some force plate testing with the football team there. We've done force plate testing with other high school athletes. It is something that you need to get. If you want more help with it about how to practically use it and you want to reach out to us, feel free to reach out to us at service@strengthcoachnetwork.com. Not only do I utilize it with lower body assessments, I use it with upper body assessments, plyo push-ups, prone Y assessments. You can also utilize it for what I call an upper body metric mid thigh pull, where essentially you're doing a push-up at the strongest range and you're pushing into an immovable force, so a barbell, same way you do an isometric mid thigh pull. Like I said, been using them for years. Valid, reliable. The customer service is fantastic. Go check out Hawin Dynamic in the link down below, and you will not be disappointed.
If they just want guidelines, awesome. If they want to step down this rabbit hole of macros and everything, cool, we'll do that too.
My question that I was going to ask you is, do you guys have like a parent, at least with, again, the majors, baseball, basketball, and I'm sure other sports do too, but like a parent committee, because that's what we're tapping into to start getting food for the boys to be eating pre, during, and post.
So every sport operates independently.
Yep.
With that, we are working towards trying to have something that all of athletics kind of pours into, and then we divvy it out. That's what we're working through probably in the next year or so. Hopefully we'll be able to get that on board, and that'll be a huge help when everybody we can come in, we can grab a little pre and get something that'll fuel them up, because it just is what it is too, right? Working with 16 to 18 year olds, I can tell them hey, you need to eat something before you get in here in the morning. But if they don't, I'm like, oh, all right, here's some fruit snacks. Here's something to give you some gas, and then be able to give them something right afterwards, which would be huge. And that's a part we're missing right now that I think we can be a lot better on as a program.
Yeah, we're super blessed that the head strength coach and the head football coach being able to coordinate through them, through the parents, because the parents want, like, all right, hey, we're going to do this. Let's start to invest to give the boys some fuel, because it really is that simple.
Yeah.
Just let testosterone and growth hormone do the thing when puberty hits. That's all we're trying to tap into.
That's it.
There's no magic.
No. Hey, what's the best supplement they can take? I don't know. Let them hit puberty. Let them get there, and then a lot of that's going to take care of itself. And that's what I try to, especially the younger parents. Hey, we're trying to get them to gain some weight. I'm like, and just wait a couple years. You're going to be okay. Just give them some time.
Where have you seen the most evolution in high school strength and conditioning in the past 5 years since, not counting the pandemic, but 3 to 5 years?
The pandemic was good too, right? Because from my end, I think we realized kids can handle so much more volume than we gave them credit for, because everybody was doing volume-based workouts at home. And but I think, I had the same mindset when I got here, but high school kids are just more durable, like this age, and they can handle so much more. And when we think about what they're doing outside of sport, we don't need to treat them like they are the power 4 kids, the kids that it's okay, we really need to be dialed in on the peaking time and everything like that. It's cool if we can, but I think we saw during the pandemic, they can handle so much more volume, especially the younger ones. But I think in high school strength conditioning, what's been cool is just the amount of spots that are becoming available, especially at schools that are taking their athletics seriously. That's the only thing that blows my mind, is like when schools are constantly winning in sports and they're like, no, we don't have a strength conditioning coach or a performance coach, whatever you call it. I'm like, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I'm like, just imagine if you guys did have somebody that was taking care of the training part of it, and you could just coach your sport and didn't have to worry about that part. And so I think that's the biggest thing. And then I think you're seeing high level coaches come into the high school world. And it may be just like proximity bias, I guess you would call it, with who I talk to regularly. And like, I'm very fortunate to have a good group of coaching friends that operate at a high level and I can bounce ideas off of. And maybe it's just that, but I think you have a lot of high level coaches at the high school level coming in that are the constant question people get asked is, oh, do you want to go to college? And I'm like, not really. Like, those hours are terrible. Not that I don't work here, right? I'm still working 9-10 hour day, but like, we're on spring break next week. I'm not going to get a random call from the basketball coach to be like, hey, we're going to lift Wednesday. I just get to be at home with my family. Like, when we're off, I think that's the biggest thing I've seen. You can talk about the technology and all that, but at the end of the day, if you can have the technology, but if you don't have a coach to run it, it doesn't matter. So having high level coaches come in that know how to do this stuff, right, that are doing it at a high level, I think is huge.
Yeah, as an outsider and working in the high school setting too, when more people are coming in and doing a good job, it makes everybody else be like, hey, I got to do this, because it's raising the bar of what is expected. It's like anything else, whether it's tactical, whether it was college, whatever it is. When people start doing good and they start moving the bar, it makes everybody have to jump over the bar higher.
Yeah. And it's, from a strength coach perspective, it's really cool. I think, like, when I got hired, within 2 years, another metro school we compete against hired a full-time strength coach. And then now all four metro schools are operating with a strength coach.
Nice.
So I think, it's people we compete against, but at the end of the day, I'm trying to see the field grow and not have, your O-line, D-line coach running the weight room, because that's what they did in 1992.
Yeah.
Have people that have done this. It's what they focus on, can push into that a little bit better than somebody else that doesn't have any training in it.
Let's talk relationships with those sport coaches and with admin. What has been your secret to success over the last 6 years?
Just communication. Now, I'm really fortunate. My head football coach has been doing this a long time. He's been really successful. Our high school principal was a football coach. Our head of school was a football coach. Our AD was a basketball coach. So we have those people in place that are athletic minded. I think we'd still get it done. It'd be a lot harder if it was like an academia person sitting in that role, but they value what we're bringing. And I think that's something too, is like, you have to show value. Like, if I just sit down here in my weight room all day and I just do my spreadsheets, I don't talk to anybody, I like just recluse up, I'm not going to be able to have that support. And so constantly checking in with my football coach, constantly checking in with our baseball coach, basketball coach, our head of school, just showing him something, right? Giving him a graph from Titan or giving him a graph from TeamBuildr or any communication. And does he necessarily know what it means? Like, maybe not, maybe, I don't know. But he asks a question, okay, what am I looking at? Or if they come in the weight room, taking the time during a session when they're like, okay, why are we doing this? Explaining it to them. And then they're like, oh, okay. I think just the communication part is huge. I think, especially with sport coaches, because sport coaches are going to be your biggest advocate, I think, at the end of the day. So I think us as performance or strength coaches, whatever, is our job is still support staff. It's still like it is at the college level. Like, you're still support staff. Like, your job is to work with that coach as best you can. And so I could sit here and just be hard line and be like, no, this is what we're doing because I want to do it. I'm not going to be here very long. I'm not going to have much success. And so I think it's a lot goes to just learning, and I had a couple of really good mentors that I saw that from them at the college level. And I'm like, yeah, it should work about the same.
People listening might be wondering, like, are you having to do the same thing with parents as well?
Oh yeah. Parents may be worse.
Really?
It's because but it's their baby, it's their kid when they're not so much anymore, but especially when I first got here, I had a lot more parent meetings and people wondering why we're doing this, or, hey, I don't want my kid doing this. Being like, okay, that's not how this is going to work. But also reassuring them that I like when parents tour, I'm like, hey, I love watching people squat 600 pounds. It's super awesome. I get fired up about it, but I'm going to celebrate that kid squatting 225 for the first time the same way I celebrate that kid squatting 600. But making sure and reassuring parents that, hey, I promise you, I don't want your kid hurt. I don't, especially in a weight room. I'm like, you get hurt in sport, it's the risk you're taking, right? If you play a sport and you get hurt. But I don't want anybody getting hurt in a weight room.
Taking a quick break from the show to talk to you about one of our sponsors, Powerlift. I used Powerlift when I was at Harvard, Maryland, and the University of Iowa. I was also part of the staff that had the new weight room at the University of Iowa, the 32-rack, beautiful facility. I was a part of that. I also have Powerlift's equipment nowadays. Powerlift Strong, made here in the great state of Iowa, in the great country of the United States. They're able to work with you on any customizations that you need, logos, height, whatever it is, the limitations that you have. Their equipment is strong. The people there, they're very good people. Check them out in the link down below. And if you have any questions on how to work with them, reach out to us at service@strengthcoachnetwork.com, and we would be delighted to help.
We had a kid, Thursday, Tuesday, just bent down as a kid was loading a plate, hit his tooth, chipped his tooth. His mom works up front, and I went up there and I was like, hey, I just want to be the first one to tell you, and just talk to her. And she's like, no, it's fine. And also caring about him, checking in on them. If they do get hurt and have a surgery, or, when you see a parent, like yesterday at a track meet, see a parent and just tell them about how their kid is doing in the weight room. I think that goes a long way. It's one of those things you can't measure, but I think it goes a long way because all the parents talk too. And so they're going to talk to each other, and you don't want people against you and against your program while you have their kid in there.
That's a really good point. Now, we looked backwards 5 years. Looking forward, what do you see? Oh
gosh. It's cool where we are. The technology piece and the admin piece and everything, I have great support. And I think moving forward, this may be cliche or sound like I'm like trying to avoid the question, but I do think like possibilities are all over the place. We can keep growing, right? Myself as a coach, I can continue growing. Looking forward, right? My dream here is to have every one of our varsity athletes involved in our program. That's number one. And so that is like the next goal I'm striving to get, and communicating with those coaches that aren't using our program as much as I can. It's tough when if let's say a coach is against you, you can only knock on that door so many times, but constantly going back to, I want the best for our athletes. I think the best for our athletes is to be training, to let them be better at their sport. That's probably my biggest goal right now, is to get all of our varsity athletes included in our program. And we're close. We're real close. There's just a few teams hit and miss that keep trying to fight for, but we're going to keep pounding on that door, and whether I want to or not, we're going to keep pounding on that door and trying to get them in here.
Now, do those teams go train in private sector locations, or they're just not physically lifting?
Just doing the sport. Yeah, I can see some argument for it. I can also, but my biggest argument against it is about development. And so wanting to develop kids in a way, we can't just identify them early and be like, oh, they're a good athlete, we're just going to bank on that. Because imagine where their ceiling could be, or a kid gets hurt because of not being physically ready for that volume or that demand that is being placed on them. I think that's kind of what you said earlier. It's a low-hanging fruit and we can make them better. I don't need them for 6 hours a week. I need them for, I'll take what you can give me 30 minutes twice a week. And yeah, that's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, and one of the things too where it grinds my gears and is like a hot button to me, but when people are like, oh, everything in the weight room is general anyways, and so if it's slow, it doesn't matter. Are we just going to completely throw out the fact that slow contraction is great for tendon health and great for muscular strength development, which plays a part in staying robust and staying healthy on the field? We're just completely throwing that away, folks. Like,
science isn't real.
Yeah. And it's like, why? Like, how can you say that with a straight face? So that would have been, or that was the angle that we played, because at Towson, it was swim and dive for a little bit, gymnastics.
Yeah.
We had some teams in it. Like you said, hey, just keep knocking, just keep like trying to find ways and then get them hooked. And then by the end, when I left, my assistant who was running it, he literally was up there timing some fly tens and doing some Achilles work with the girls.
Yeah.
So it's like, just keep banging.
Which is like in gymnastics, right? Is in college gymnastics, we've seen an uptick in Achilles ruptures.
Yep.
And so, like, to your point, you're having a huge force demand. But then if we're not training and we're just saying, hey, you just going to need to do your sport more, at the end of the day, that's what's causing that to happen. And we're not taking any care of it. And so that's an interesting one that you bring up, is that because my wife was a college gymnast.
Oh, okay.
And then I worked with them when I was at Georgia, and I'm like, man, you see it happen, and you're like, damn, there's another one. I think last year.
Or the number of like the spondies and spine injuries from just all the complete extension that they're always in.
Yep.
And it's, listen, tendons, remember, they can change. They get, when you run, they get really stiff. When you lift, we can help make them a little bit more pliable. And we can, that's part of what we're doing in the weight room instead of just always stiff. Too much of anything is not good enough for y'all. You know what I mean?
And I've seen I'm sure you've seen the same thing, is like, you see two almost ends, right? Where it's, we want to train like football, and then we don't want to do anything. I'm like, okay, the teams that are like, I want to train like football. It's, okay, give me 4 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week, year round. And then you can do a lot more stuff that looks like what they're doing. But what they don't take into account, right, is like the training age of those kids. And then they're like, oh, I had this like 10th grade girl that's never touched a barbell, but I want them training like football. And I'm like, nope, not doing that. And then it's the same argument, right, for the teams that don't want to do anything. I'm like, okay, that also doesn't make sense, because you're doing all this with them. My job, it doesn't need to look like football. Like, I don't need them in here throwing weight around. I need them doing a lot more iso work, a lot more tendon-based work, to where we're trying to build them up and make them, like you said, more pliable, and we can make them move a little bit better. But it's a constant education piece. I think that's something too, as strength coaches, especially probably any level, but especially the high school level. It's like constantly trying to educate when we can, when people ask questions and they give you that seat at the table to speak into it. It's okay, now let's talk about this a little bit more in depth on what we're looking like and why we're doing what we're doing, and especially in season as season goes on.
What's been some of the most successful things, relationships, whatever you want to use in the last couple years that you've had working down there?
This year especially, we kept our girls basketball team all throughout the playoffs and the championship season. And so that was huge. And I think it just came down to that, is me and the basketball coach. He wanted to do something one day, and it was one of those spike up to get people's attention a little bit. And then we had a really good conversation and went through the program of, this is what I'm trying to do. And so we kept them involved a lot longer. And I think that only comes from the relationship me and him have built, but also him understanding, because to us, it's second nature, right? We know as strength coaches what we're trying to get, but I could walk in the gym. I can't go coach basketball. It's the same thing. He has a rhyme and reason for everything he's doing up there, and I don't necessarily know it. And the same thing in here is, he doesn't necessarily know what's happening. He just sees them training and sees them doing something. But I need to be on the front end of it, be like, hey, this is what we're looking for. And I tried to do better with that this year as we went, especially basketball season, trying to keep them in here and keep them training. And knock on wood, we were pretty healthy outside of some just wear and tear type stuff. We didn't have any catastrophic or traumatic injuries this year, which was huge.
Turning it on its head, what has been some of the things you're like, okay, I need to make sure that I don't have this? Like, people call them a challenge or a setback, but like, what were some of the failures that you're like, all right, man, I got to make sure that I learned from this and I don't want to repeat this?
Yeah, I think one, and my wife would attest to it, I'm not super warm and fuzzy, especially when I'm a little bit agitated. I'm not super warm and fuzzy, so I got to do better Like that situation with the basketball coach, right? I could have just left it where we did, and then I probably would have lost him all year. But we went back and forth. I calmed myself down, went in there the next day, and then we had a really good talk. And so I think that's one thing from a personal perspective that I'm like, I always have to, because no matter what, right, coaches all have egos. Strength coaches, we have egos. Sport coaches, we have egos. We're all trying to do the best thing for our kids, but it can look a little bit different, and we got to be able to relay that to each other. And so I'll always try to go back to that is, are these people for me? Do these people care about our athletes? All right, let's be on the same page here moving forward. So that's probably one of the things that I fail at more than I probably should at whatever, 33 years old. But it's one of those things that I'm like, yeah, it's a part of who I am. And as long as I'm continuing to try to be a little bit better at it, it's probably going to make me better in the long run.
Something that I've struggled with working in the high school setting is the athletic training situation with just sheer volume for them and lack of resources at the school. How do you handle that, work in that space, recommend it? What are your thoughts?
And again, I'm super fortunate. Our AT, good. I got a great relationship with him. We work really well. We're very similarly minded. We talk all the time. Good. And now he's not full-time here. Okay. He's contracted out through one of the local places. I think that's how a lot of ATs are.
Same here.
Yeah. And so we have a great relationship. I got lucky. We had a lady when I first got here, my first 2 years, I think. And she was awesome. I had a good relationship with her. But then Jared came in. We have a great relationship. And so, like I said, we have great admin support. And so when Miss Casey was leaving and Jared came in, I was like, okay, now you got to get used to, because like you said, like sometimes it's by sheer volume, they can't do what they need to do, or you get a younger kid that doesn't have any experience and you're like, okay, this is not an entry level job. Like you have 400 something varsity athletes that all need at the very basic, get taped, have some pre-stretch stuff or whatever. But Jared is awesome. He's done it at a college level. He's been around. He worked at a couple high schools. And then when our job came open, he's actually a graduate. And so he put his name in and it was big time. He does a great job. So we work really close. A kid gets hurt. Me and Jared are on the phone pretty quickly after that. Has a doctor's appointment, has PT, whatever it is. And we're constantly communicating and being like, okay, this is what you did at PT today. Let's come in. Let's do this rehab, or let's do this return to play. And he does a great job with all of that. And so I'm super blessed to where I don't have to try to fill that space at all. A kid comes and he's, coach, my shoulder. And I'm like, go to Jared. Nope, go to Jared. Go talk to him, because I'm going to talk to him first, because you're just going to tell me it hurts. He's going to actually be able to tell me what I need to stay away from. And that part's super nice. And again, I know I'm in a fortunate position. I got a lot of friends that don't necessarily have that same relationship. And so it's just always trying to make sure we are working together, not running into each other, and make sure whatever he's doing in rehab or return to play, that I'm complimenting that.
What's up, y'all? Taking a quick break from the show to talk to you about another one of our sponsors, Vitr. I've been utilizing Vitr for a while now, and I absolutely love the convenience of this app. The encoder is at a price that you cannot beat compared to the competitors. Also, I don't personally like the camera apps. I've known that they continue to break down, and I really enjoy having this encoder attached directly to the bar. Vitr does that. Not only does it do that, but it'll show me velocity loss during the set, shows me average velocity, all of it right within the app. Not only that, for the app on the individual athlete, there's a Vitr Teams app where now as the coach, I can see all the results from my athletes. I can API that into my TeamBuildr, and now everything that I'm trying to do, get better competition, better intent in the weight room, I am able to do with Vitr. If you want more information about them, click the link down below, or you can ask us questions directly at service@strengthcoachnetwork.com, and we would love to answer those questions for you.
And then when that tide turns, right, when the injured kids start moving back into the training regimen as their primary, figuring out what we need to do from a rehab perspective, and constantly being on kids, and because it's just like college, right? It's, hey, you need to be at rehab today. Yep. Oh, I had to go take a test. And I'm like, no, you're not practicing until you get that done. So we need to go do that before we practice. So it works really nice.
You talked about family life. Talk about the importance of that and how that fills your cup and helps make you a better coach, because I think our listeners need to hear that regardless of whatever level they're working at or how long they've been in the field.
Yeah. No, it's number one. I don't believe in a work-life balance. They are first, always. No matter what the decision is, they're first. My wife's the first person I go to with anything. She's one of the few people I go to with anything. You never want to be the negative dude at work, but that she is my sounding board, and so she gets to hear a lot of it. But she works here as well, and so it's cool that we're involved in each other's lives. Know the scope of everything. We got 3 little ones. She just turned 4. I got a little boy that's about to turn 3, and then we have another little girl that just turned 1.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's just chaos.
Yeah.
And so but wouldn't have it any other way. It's something I wouldn't trade. And I don't believe in work-life balance. Like when I go home, I got to be the best dad I can be. And if that's me taking a few more minutes, taking a long way home to work to give myself a few more minutes to detach, I think is huge. But them constantly being the frame that I operate out of, like what is best for our family, what is best for my wife and me, what's best for me and my kids, what's best for me being the best dad I can be. I think that's huge. I talked at a school last week just to their exercise science, and that's what I told them. I'm saying every decision I make is out of that frame. And so I want to make sure I'm the best dad to them, because at the end of the day, we're going to have kids come in this weight room and leave this weight room, and they're going to start lives. But those 4 people right there, they're always going to be with me and trying to make sure I'm the best for them. And sometimes we miss, sometimes I miss, but trying to be the 95%, they get the best dad. The little munchkins were running around here this morning. My wife had to do some video stuff this morning, and 2 of them just running around, just kids growing up in a weight room.
Yep.
And our athletes are constantly seeing them.
Yep.
They're constantly seeing when they just run around. They're watching kids train. They're watching. Our little boy just loves it. Like music's blaring, he comes in just fired up. And he was in his Spider-Man costume this morning, because why would you not wear a Spider-Man costume on Thursday? Just fired up, running around during our football group. And so it's a lot of fun. And that's something you don't necessarily at the college level have the opportunity to do either. Is a lot of places you're not just going to be able to have your kids running around in the weight room during a training session, and just being able to come hang out some mornings, I think it's huge for me. That fills my cup, watching them run around and everything. And so it's hard to be in a bad mood when they're running around and having a great time.
That's exactly what Kenna Smoke Manisi talked about on her episode. It's not work-life balance. It's work-life integration.
Yeah.
This is a great way to put it. Like your kids, your family is integrated, and the athletes get to see your, and I truly believe it makes you a better coach, because the athletes see you in a different light instead of, that's just Coach Adams. Oh, Coach Adams is a dad, and it's almost like when your athletes see you outside of the weight room, and you might be in like jeans and a t-shirt. It doesn't even have to be dressed up, but you're wearing jeans. So wait a minute, who are you?
Exactly. And so, I mean, it's just the work-life integration is a great way to put it, because no matter what level you work at, you still put a ton of time into it.
Facts.
And so you should put a lot of time into it. We work a lot of hours. You should try to be really good at it. But I also don't want to just be like gone, because I don't get to see them in the morning much, because I'm gone by 6. They don't wake up until 7-ish.
Yep.
And I'm gone, and I don't see them all day. And then sometimes we're here until 5:30. And so I don't want the life that they know of me is those 2 hours before they go to bed. And so it's fun, like even just going and getting them from school sometimes, or daycare sometimes, and just bringing them up here towards the end of the day a little bit early, and just running around. I think it's a lot of fun.
Good for you. I think that's exactly how it should be lived. Yeah. You're in the middle of your workday, so I appreciate you taking just under an hour of your time to share with me and our listeners. So thank you very much, Coach.
No, I appreciate it, man. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
You have a great rest of your day.
All right, man. You too.
Thanks for watching that video. If you enjoyed it, click right here for videos just like that, and make sure you click here to subscribe to our channel. Have a great rest of your day.